guys. Oh my gosh. I've never done a live where there's 6 people waiting on me. Whew, that's kind of thrilling. So, hi, Keto for Real Life people here. And today I am going to be doing a cracker tutorial. This is going to be fun. If you have been missing crackers like I have, I think you guys are going to like this recipe. I'm going to do this little thing. Let me be patient because I'm still learning about lives. So, oh, there we go. Going Gonzo, my first guy. Hi, Steve. How are you, dude? So I'm going to start out and do a reverse tutorial. It just makes it so much easier. I let you see the product and then I go and proceed to start making my stuff. So give me just 1 second so I can grab my little plate here. So this is a cracker. Do y'all remember those? Like I did square ones this time. Hey, Catherine. So I want to do this because I want you guys to see and hear, hopefully. Crackers, yum. The secret to getting a crunchy cracker, I found, was baking it at a high temperature for only about 10-12 minutes, pulling them out, cutting your oven back down to about between 200 250. Open your oven let out the heat for a minute if that's what I do, just because I want quicker results. But once your oven temperature cools back down, you'll pop your cracker back in, and it takes anywhere from about 20 to 30 minutes, depending on your oven. So there we go. Now I did these a little differently. I will say this. You can season these up any way you want to. So here's another thing to think about, y'all. The holidays are coming. I mean, think about it. When everybody's doing turkey pinwheels and things like that and having snacks, and we do okay. We are fine with, our meat trays and our olives and things like that. And we even make fat bombs, Christmas parties, things like that are coming up. But to just be able to have a cracker, and put maybe some almond butter on it, or if you can do peanut butter, you can do crackers, peanut butter, you can do your meat, your cheese, spinach dips. There's so many good ways, so many nice, healthy, fatty dips that you can make and top on a cracker. I've even had the thought, and I haven't done it yet, but look at the size of this cutter right here. This cutter right here, you could probably make large ones and even use them to top things like you would a chalupa or a tostada or just whatever. You can make a meal on a cracker. What? I know. Okay, I'm going to look at some of these comments and then we're going to get started. Rosemary and garlic crackers. Yeah, see, this is amazing. For a second, I thought, oh, hi, Lisa. I thought, oh my gosh, my cracker dough seems a little wet, but then I had to just have faith, trust the process. And as we go through this tutorial, if you guys have any questions, just feel free to shout out. I'll check the questions and I'll check the comments. Oh, thank you, Lisa. Lynn L. Windspirit says, so glad you're on, Nancy. You're my favorite person on YouTube. Oh, that's so nice. Last night at 10, we made jam, and oh, I'm so glad we can make jam together. And chocolate fat bombs. Oh, so awesome. Okay, so again, one more look at my crackers. I did squares this time. I really like that. Besides, my husband's going to be taking these on the road, all right? And they are crispy, crunchy, and they will stay that way. So let me set these to the side, and we're going to get going. I want to tell you guys right now, my oven is set to 450 degrees. All right. You want it nice and hot because you just want them to quickly cook. And if they poof a little bit during the cooking, even after you've docked them, I just take a fork and poke them back down real quick while they're in that cooking process. So I'm going to hold up each product. I'm trying to get better at these tutorials, y'all. So this is I know it's probably backwards for you guys, but this is the almond flour I buy. I get it at Walmart. It's $10.94, I think, for 2 pounds. It's Nature's Eats eats blanched almond flour, and it's finer than, say, almond meal. Would it work? Probably, but this is the one I use, okay? And it's gonna be 1 1/4 cups of that. And I'm gonna show you how I dip and scoop, because you know, the only time that I spoon my flours is when I'm making a cake. Other than that, I just take my cup and I stick it down in the bag, and I give it a good, and then I use the bag to kind of just flatten it off. It packs it in a little bit, so you know it's gonna be heavy right there. So there's 1 cup of almond flour and 1/4 cup of almond flour. Again, just the same process of just giving it a little, I kind of pack it in there, so I know it's a little denser, okay? So the almond flour is out of the way. The next thing that I add to my crackers is the whole psyllium husk. It's the Now brand. I paid $5.99, and I think it's a 1-pound bag. Yep, that's what it is. Now here's the thing, when you're making nutritional yeast bread or crackers, some brands of psyllium husk tend to turn purple when they're cooking. So if yours turns purple, it's not gonna affect anything, and you can still eat it, but just understand that some brands do that. This is 5 tablespoons, and when I get done with this this tutorial and it gets uploaded and I'm able to edit it, then I will also drop the recipe in the drop down, and I'll explain this. Let me count out. 1, 2, let me see if I can go this direction and maybe this direction, and we'll do this. 3, 4, 5. So that's your main 2 components of your cracker. Next, I'm gonna add a 1/2 teaspoon of xanthan gum. Now, I did try 1 teaspoon of this, and I thought it lent too much texturally. I wanted to back it down to about a 1/2 teaspoon, and I think it tastes better that way, but it's up to you. It's really up to you. It helps bind this cracker together, y'all. So a 1/2 teaspoon of xanthan gum. My favorite is the nutritional yeast because it smells, oh guys, it smells so good. Oh, let me come up and let me go this way. Maybe, oh, nope, I gotta learn how to use this. I gotta learn how to use this thing better, right? Nutritional yeast. Again, we're gonna fortify it. This is Bragg's. It is fortified, and it gives us all of our B vitamins, but the smell and the taste and the texture, I think it really helps with the cracker flavor as well. So I've got 1 tablespoon of that to go in there. Now we're going to get down to seasonings, okay? And I'm going to show you, this is what I've been using to make my kind of garlic and black pepper. It's the all-purpose seasoning, pink Himalayan sea salt by McCormick, and you can get it at Walmart. That's where I bought mine. It's really fragrant, and it's chunky too, so you can actually see how chunky that is. But again, it depends. If you want to add some rosemary, you want to add thyme, you want to add Italian seasoning, whatever flavor cracker you want. And you might not even opt for any. You might just opt for salt, you know? That's fine too. You might just want more of a bland, non-flavored cracker, so that when you're eating soups or topping things, you've got just a nice, smooth flavor cracker. So I'm gonna do, oh, and this is some onion powder. Again, you can put some onion powder in there if you like. I'm gonna go ahead and add a teaspoon of onion powder in there. Then I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of salt in there. And it's a forgiving thing. It's not like baking a cake. It was a little rounded. It's all good because I want it to have some salt in it. And then I guess I will go ahead and do a tablespoon of this. But I'm not going to round it off because, again, I would just want those chunks of There we go. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. I'm just gonna change it. I'm gonna change it. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go this direction, and then I'm gonna go this direction, and I'm gonna grab my everything seasoning for the bagels. I think that'll be really cool. Let me see if I've got it right here. So tasty, 0 carb. This is the Everything Bagel by Tones. Used with chicken, beef, veggies. How about crackers? Yes. And this is going to add seeds. It's got sesame seeds, poppy seeds, garlic, onion, and a little bit of salt. So I'm just going to give a little. Oh, I love this stuff. Look at this. When it looks all white, but then when you dig around, then you can see all that pepper. And I'm going to drop about a tablespoon. Yes, it's going to be so good and tasty. So I think that's it on our dry goods. Just let me go this way. Yeah, and then I'm going to go this way. I'm learning this Zoom mobile that my husband bought me. This is easier this way. So I've got my dry ingredients. I'm going to put my paddle on. Now, if you don't have a stand mixer, you can definitely do this by hand. I'm going to look and see here. Let's see here before we move on to wet. L is for Lori. Oh, okay. Got you. Got you. Let's see. Yeah, these crackers definitely. I made the little puffy ones. We'll get into that. Yes. Okay, here we go. So now that we've got this together, what I like to do is just blend the dry ingredients. It gets out little lumps and bumps that, you know, getting your almond flour sometimes clumps up a little bit. And that's that. That's all you do. Now I'm going to push this back because we're going to start on the wet ingredients and we're going to talk about them a little bit. I need to reach in my fridge. Now I'm going to show you. Okay, so it calls for 3 eggs, 3 egg whites. And here's the my first 3 eggs from earlier today when I made my first batch of crackers. What do you do with the egg yolks? What do you do? Well, you save them because when I get done making crackers, I'm going to take these egg yolks and I'm going to put them in my ice cream base. So it's going to be heavy cream and egg yolks and I'm going to need them. So double duty. I'm doubling down. Yes. So here we go. I'm going to see. Yes, you can see this. This is good. This is good. All right. Here's how I do. I just crack my egg, open it up, and I let it slide out. And I just go back and forth until it all drops off. And that's it. There's one. And crack the second. Pour it out. Slide it. And then drop it. And I'll just make sure I get it. There we go. There's 2. And last but not least, we're down to the 3rd one. Don't you do that to me, egg yolk. Get off of there. There we go. All right, so now I have egg yolks for ice cream. I'm telling you what, guys. My husband is spoiled rotten and doesn't even know it. Because me personally, I don't get a lot of cravings for sweets. But just because he's a newbie, and I remember when I first started, I needed my sweets. And so I'm going to make him ice cream. Hello, hello. I see y'all. You know, I wish that it kind of would just show the feed as it runs along so I could keep up. I'll just say hi, everybody. So now we've got this. Now, here's the difference between bread and crackers. I am not adding any yeast at all. And you know, I just thought of something. I was like, did I actually even use egg whites? But apparently I did. But 4 tablespoons of oil. This is the oil I have, guys. This is an avocado oil blend. I had straight up avocado oil and I had to go to the store. They were out, but the same company had another blend. I'll show it to you real quick. Did you get my big, what is this? Oh, I don't know what that is. Okay. So I want to feature this oil and let you know what brand I use. Let me see if I can get that in there so that you guys can see it. I know it's backwards. Hopefully it doesn't show backwards for y'all. It just shows backwards for me. It's Chosen Foods Organic Chosen Blend Oil. And it is a blend of high oleic safflower oil, avocado oil, and coconut oil. 14 grams of fat per tablespoon. Has a good high smoke point. It's organic, it's non-GMO, and I got it for $7. They had overstock at Walmart, so I was like, woo! I'm so happy. So 4 tablespoons, and I just go ahead and put it in my egg yolks. It's all wet ingredients, so I just pour it. So we're gonna do this. And I love these little bottles right here, guys. They really help you from over pouring, whether you're making salad dressing, pouring salad dressing, or putting it in the skillet, or whatever. I got them at the dollar store, these little bottles, for $1 a piece. You can't beat that. And they're glass, and I like that. And we are on number 4. Here we go. So we got our oil down. Hello, guys. I buy the psyllium husk. We have a little store called The Granary, but we also have Natural Foods and we have Drug Emporium, and all 3 stores carry this particular brand of whole psyllium husk. I buy it at The Granary, first of all, because it's closest to home. Second of all, it's cheaper here at this little tiny store than it is at one of those big chain stores in town. Go figure. So let's move it on. Alrighty, now we've got 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. You can use whichever vinegar you happen to have. I don't think it matters, but it is 2 teaspoons worth. And to that, I'm just going to add it to the egg whites. 1 and almost. I don't want to overpour it. There we go. 2 of those. Where's my lids? And this is another great deal I got. My apple cider vinegar for this big bottle, I paid $2.99 at Drug Emporium. What a bargain! So let me see here, guys. See what my comments are doing. Come and cook for me. Okay. YouTube, always backwards. Okay, yes. Sue, newbie, starting here Monday. If you haven't been over on Facebook, Sue, go to Facebook and look for Keto for Real Life People group. I have Keto for Real Life People YouTube, Keto for Real Life People page on Facebook, and Keto for Real Life People group on Facebook. And you can join, and if you're going to start out, let's start out on the right foot, and you'll get lots of support. Lots and lots and lots. And everybody say, welcome! So, all right, here we go. Oh, and last but not least, we need that cup of hot water. So let me get it. Let me get it. Here, I can just pick you guys up. Oh my gosh, don't look at my messy house because it's a mess. Seriously, like, don't even look at it or I will be upset. Oh, goodness. So, I use Keurig water. That's just my thing. I hit the 8-ounce button, it comes out, just under boiling, works for me, and you know, if you've got one, you can do that too, or you can boil it. Just make sure it's really hot water because that's going to penetrate those psyllium husks. You know, Kimberly Rhodes says, will psyllium husk powder work, or do you need the whole husk? I think the powder will work. I've had some group members say they've tried that and it has worked. I don't know if it takes more or less. It's just what I use is the whole, so you can give it a try and then you can tell me how that works out for you. But I think you could get away with it. Again, don't look at my house. I've got you guys specifically set. So I'm gonna pull this around here again. Have lost 10 pounds in almost 30 days. Have lost almost 10 pounds in 30 days. Love keto and getting back to healthy lifestyle. Good job. I'm going to tell you guys. I have been feeling really bloaty the last few days, but then along comes Shark Week, and so I was like, make sure you have your game on today, because I already had this scheduled. So I'm fighting all of these hormones today, and I'm like, please, please just let me make it through. So let's keep going. I know that was TMI. I know it was random. I know. Here we go. Dry ingredients. Let me see if I can get this to come down just a tad bit more. Yes, without it tipping over. So here's our dry ingredients. To it, I'm going to add the hot water. And I'm going to drop this down in here, lock it, and I'm going to turn it on low. And I'm going to let it start blending in there. And now here's a tip I can give you, whether you're making crackers or nutritional yeast bread. Give this a minute. Do you see the steam coming up off of it? I don't want to cook the eggs at all right? I'm giving this a minute to just start incorporating, to let it penetrate the psyllium husk, to let it kind of soak into the almond flour, and to just mesh together. And I don't know if you guys have ever made like popovers or cream puffs or eclairs or any of those sort of things, but I have. And I notice, okay, so the steam is gone, and what I'm going to start doing now is I'm going to add this, and I'm going to go like this. It's going to go blop, and that kind of equals an egg. Blop. And can you see what it's doing, how it breaks apart? It kind of just slides apart. That's what happens when you're making cream puffs or puff pastry. It does that. And then it kind of starts coming back together. All right, so now that it's coming back together a little bit, I'm going to go blop and add the other last bit. And again, it's going to just kind of separate itself and then come together. And I'll put the last of that in there. And I'm going to kick this up. Right now I've got it set down on stir, and I'm going to go up to like 2 is all. And that way you guys can see here, I want to move my egg yolks. I'm going to stick them in the fridge, use those for later, and see if I can get a better line for you guys on that. There we go. And see how this, you watched it. It kind of came apart and was all gloopy. It starts coming together like a gel almost, because that's what psyllium husk does. I'm going to see here. Oh my goodness. So I guess when you do Facebook Lives and stuff, you get all kinds of folks in here, right? I don't know if I can control them or not, but remove. There. I guess I can control people who want to say random weird things that aren't appropriate. I got the power. Okay, so this is still, yeah, I know, huh? Do I make a mean shepherd pie? Not particularly. You know, I'm going to kind of go up with this a little bit, and then over a little bit. And while I watch this go, shepherd's pie is kind of a northerny thing. I really didn't grow up with it. Sharon, you know what I just found out? I just held my thumb down on that comment that I just saw about dog poop, and it said remove, and so I removed. Now, I don't know if I removed him or just a comment, but I removed it. Okay, so look guys, look here. It has got a jelly to it now. This is this thing, whether it's going to depend on whether or not you get, I'm going to kick it up here just to see. I like to watch it jiggle, and then I know whether, because you don't want to overbeat the egg whites. No, Stephanie, I'm making crackers. And, you know, the thing, if I was making crackers with wheat or gluten, then I would just use just a few simple ingredients. But flour and almond flour are not created equal. So I want to feel how wet this is. It's wet. touch it. It should feel like Play-Doh. It feels wet to the touch. So I'm gonna give this a minute longer on here. And just let it go. Just let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let's see. Henrietta says, I find that psyllium husk makes things seem wet. Am I using too much when making bread? Well, 5 tablespoons is what I use, and it doesn't seem as wet. As a matter of fact, the longer this kind of hangs out, let's just stop it here. The longer this stuff hangs out and just like sits, as an example, this is the dough from the last batch I made. I want you to see it's squishy, and once I kind of start really squishing it, then it gets a little sticky, but it doesn't feel wet at all. It's pliable. It's even got a little like bouncy texture to it, like it just wants to, you want to play with it. So I'm not obviously gonna waste this one. I just didn't get down to the last of it, so before I came live. But anywho, yeah, it can sit for a while. It's not going anywhere. So if you've got to stop what you're doing, don't worry about it. It's not something you've got to hurry up and get worked and get into the oven. Yes, that's what it is. Squishy, bouncy back dough. All right, so this is going to go into the sink. I'm done with it. And I'm going to just show you. This is what it looks like in here. And as it releases, you can just kind of see it's sticky. It's sticky, but it has that bouncy feel to it. And it balls together very nicely, y'all. Very, very nicely. And when I turn it, it just comes up and just boom, into a ball. There we go. Now we're ready to move it on. So I want to put you guys in a different place now, because we're gonna switch around from the making station to the, oh, I'm gonna get my rolly cart going. That's what I call it, is my rolly cart. It is my little wine rack / cutting board type deal. And I've got my oven, like I said, set at 450 degrees. Let's talk baking gear. This is what I bake my crackers on. I would like to get a bigger one. You know, they make these double size now, because then I could do a bunch of crackers all at once. So I found when I tried baking the crackers on a cookie sheet or a baking sheet, they just stayed too soft. They would not crisp up enough. So this was my perfect solution. It's a little awkward, but it's totally doable. And I just set it right there. And here's another thing. I said 2 sheets of baking paper. Really, I have got this mat that I use when I'm, see, it just covers up. It's a fondant or pie crust mat. You can measure. But I like it because it's material. It's a plastic. And I can work with it and lift off of it. So, plus, it has all these wonderful squares or circles so that you can easily measure out. Let's keep it going. I'm going to set this ball of dough over here because I'm going to work with the one that I made. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my spatula. I'm not going to do this dough all at once. It's just too big a ball of dough to try to spread so thin. So what I do is I just kind of do it in fourths or thirds. It's up to you. Just get a section of it to work with and just pull it out. And it is, see, it's sticking to my hands. Now, you notice that this one is not sticking to my hands. So this one, it might even be better to let it sit for a while. I haven't gone that far in playing with this recipe yet. But here's what I do. I keep my hands wet the whole time. And what I'm going to do is, you know me and the paper towels. You know me and the paper towels, okay? In order to make the square ones, I'm going to use these squares here that are on my grid. And I've got some water right here, and it only takes a little dab of water, you guys. Just enough to get your hands wet so that you can start playing with this. Now, I've used rolling pins and I've used my hands. I kind of like my hands better. I can feel it. I can see how thick it's getting. And I found I can just kind of, I'm getting better at playing with this dough. It's becoming more of my friend. And I'll tell you another thing that's nice. You just set your square parameter. That's all the water it takes. You just keep your hands smooth and you can take this out. You want it thin. You want it thin, about an eighth of an inch, actually. And I kind of use this grid here, and I need to do it like, because last time I did it, I was 1 inch over on short and long side. This just goes to show you, you can get anything you want when you have, and I like doing this because you can feel in the middle where it's thicker and around the edges. And what I do is when I start reaching my parameter on thickness, then I start shaping it into my square. Like this. You can sure feel when it starts getting sticky too. And forgive me for not touching the screen for the moment to see comments, but you understand, don't you? Yeah, get my phone all yucky. Hashtag just saying. I'm going to get the side of my hand wet because I just kind of like coming along here. And I'm going to work it back a little bit because I'm at this line and I kind of want to just keep it right there. And smush it this way. Now, is this time consuming? Sure it is. Is it worth it? Definitely. Definitely. Get in there, you know, like one day and just, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need 6. I want my square to go to here because I wanted to cut this in my squares. And I'm just working this along because you can work dough to the spot you want and then push it back. I swear it's so easy, guys. And then I'm going to get this up here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. I know. I'm just get into it, right? Because you want it even. You want to be able to go 2 by 2s on these here crackers. And I will tell you that this side is thicker, so I'm going to just shove it this way, like this, and just fill it in. Heck, and you just keep on. That's what I do. I just give it a little bit and then, okay. There we go. Now here, at this point is when I used to say dock it, but oop, I smushed a little too deep. I smushed a little too deeply. Okay. The key to working with almond flour, I find, is water. When you're at that stage of working with it, it is better to just always have some water going. So here's the thing. I come over here and I just, you know, I'm going 2 over. And I line up the tip here and the tip there. And I just make my cut. And then I go over 2. And I come down to it and I make my cut. And you can give it a little wiggle. Come back over. Again, with your cut. And then we're going to do the cross section the same way. We're going to come over 2. And I do like how generous these are, you guys. I like the size. I think that, you know, I guess I could get out a regular old saltine and see what we got. Here I got just a little bit of overage. So if you're a perfectionist, you can take care of it just like I'm doing it right here. So you end up with the same size crackers. And I will put this over here in my dough bowl. Boom, just like that. Now, one good thing about doing the squares, less waste. If you're using a cutter, which I've done that too, but my granddaughter got a hold of my cookie cutters playing with her Play-Doh, and I don't know where my little cracker one is. So squares are going to be great because there's not as much waste. You're not having to reuse the dough or anything like that. So I'm going to, let's see, I'm gonna move you guys because I want to take you over here. Oh, sorry about that. I'm trying to be gentle, I promise. Back at it. Okay. Turn this down a little bit. There. So I used to dock it at this point, but I'm not. Now I'm going to take a look here and see what we got. Let's see. Hey, Nelson. Now, I will tell you, my crackers have only made it about 3 days before they're gone. Now, they will last. 3 days later, they're still just as crispy and crunchy. And I put them in a storage bag, set them in my cabinet, no problems whatsoever. They don't have any preservatives in them, but, you know, you could probably freeze them. Have I tried freezing them yet? No. Okay, so I'm going to use a spatula, and here's where I wish my perfect crackers would stay perfect. Again, key, water. Get it wet and just lift. And then drop it down on your little tray right here. Okay, that's all I'm doing here. And I'm getting it wet again. Isn't it weird how you get through the process of trying to figure out how to make a cracker and what you have to go to to figure it out? I'm like, who knew? Nobody ever told me that I needed to use all this water. I mean, I knew when I made fathead pizza dough that I had to keep my hands wet, but good golly. Just keep dipping, dipping, dipping. Dipping, dipping. This one feels a little thick. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to tell you right here, right on that edge, it feels a little thick, but no bigger, no matter, because I will just pat it out a little thinner. Again, I'm a perfectionist, but I would rather have an evenly cooked cracker than something that's really thick and doughy on one side and super thin. For instance, look here. This is really thin here, but I can see that it's a little thick over here. So I've got it in my little wet palm, and I'm just going to give pat it gently. And then stick it on the tray. Then just stick it on there. Up we go. Oh, it tore a little bit. Again, I'm not worried about that. Off it goes. Okay, so you can see here. See how thick that is? It's way too thick. See how thin it is here? Just thin it out. Thin it out. I want it 1/8 of an inch thick. It'll just be a bigger cracker. This is homegrown. This is not perfect by any means, but it is delicious. I will tell you that. Heck, I could probably get 2 crackers out of that. That one was so darn thick. I'm gonna do that. Again, shape is up to you anyway. Think about it. You could do round crackers. You could do square crackers. I've even done these little 1-inch squares. I've cut them up that small, put them on this little tray here. Oh my gosh, I had the whole thing loaded. And they poofed, and I let them stay poofed. And that's when I got those, like, they reminded me of those little pretzels, you know, that you find in those bags of Chex Mix, or those little poofy pretzel bites. That's what they reminded me of. So definitely, if you're into that kind of crunch, make them 1 inch. Oh, this one just fell apart on me. So anyways, yeah, they're very good, very good. I wanted to somehow make them peanut butter flavored. I wonder if I could take them and add some, you know, that PB Fit powder. I've got some of that. I wonder if I could make them like taste like peanut butter puffs. Something to think about. There we go. Hands are wet. This stuff, the longer it sits, the easier it gets to work with. I will say that too. There we go. All right, so I'm going to just set that there. All right, so now then, I've got my batch of crackers on here. At this point, you must dock. You must dock. And you see here, I just take, again, a fork, a little wet, and while it's on here, I just poke the heck out of these things. And it might not necessarily do it any good as far as, I mean, it might not keep it from puffing too much. I think weather has something to do with it. But you just give it the docking. My oven is set at 450. There we go. Yep, stay on there. Let me get back in shape. I mean, it's so forgiving, y'all. There we go. And then into the oven we go. Now, let me pop this in here and I will be back in just a second. And that's how quick it is. 450 degrees, it is 241, 10 minutes to 12 minutes, so 251 to 253. And I will be pulling these out, and all I'm going to do is just let them sit and cool for a minute while then I would turn the oven down. Of course, I've got all this rest of this dough, so that's when you would start patting out your next batch to get it ready. So it does about 3 rounds of it. I'm going to take a moment while this is baking and answer your questions. Let me adjust this a little bit. Ah, I see my colorful Keto Dory sister here. Ah, yes. Let's see. Yeah, it kind of works when you let it rest like pastry dough. Lori says, paper towel queen here too. Yes, definitely. Okay. That is a Wilson mat. This is for Cynthia Matthews. I got it at Walmart in their baking section. I'm sure you can get it at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. I ended up getting a great deal because I went when they were like minimizing and shrinking the baking department at our store down, and so I bought like 10 rolls of parchment paper for $1 a piece. I bought my mat here for like $2. I just got a heck of a deal last summer on a bunch of baking stuff. Yeah, no hearts on YouTube Live, huh, girl? Your fingers don't spell correctly? Well, sometimes my mouth doesn't work correctly. Okay, real quick. Yes, Gonzo, I will. So the baking part is this. Once you get your crackers on your baking sheet, on your baking rack, all right, you dock them with a fork. You bake the crackers for 10 to 12 minutes at 450 degrees, real high temp. At this point, when you check them about 8 minutes in, if you see that they've poofed a little too much, go ahead and just take your fork, reach in the oven, tap them right down again. Don't worry about it. They will drop back down, and then you'll pull them out at a 10 to 12 minutes. They'll be lightly Triscuity color, if you will, okay? So then when they come out at that point, you're going to let them cool for a minute. Just set the rack on a table, get it away from the oven, let it cool down, and cut your oven back to between 200 and 250. And then you're going to take your rack and you're going to set it back in the oven. Make sure you loosen the crackers. Make sure they're not sticking to your baking tray. And then pop them back in the oven. It usually takes about 30 minutes or so because they're going to bake the second time. They're just going to dry out is what they're going to do. And what you're going to end up with are these wonderful crackers. These. Can you hear that? Can you hear that? This is the back side of them, and this is the front of them. Yes. Vivian said she didn't know what docking was. She's glad I showed them because she was pressing on them like peanut butter. Like probably crisscrossing, huh? No, docking is the poking of the whether it's pie crust, crackers, things like that that you want to dock because you want to keep air bubbles out. So we dock. Yep. So yeah, these are good. They're so yummy. They have really, really, really good flavor. They have texture. And you get to choose whatever you want to flavor them with. And you get to make them as strong. I mean, I like bold crackers. I was actually thinking about like using chicken stock or bone broth instead of just plain water, because I was like, you know, remember chicken and biscuits? Remember those crackers? I love those. And or bacon fat as my grease instead of the avocado oil. You could definitely use bacon fat, or maybe even butter to make a buttery cracker. I mean, it just says fat, so you choose your fat. You choose your seasoning. Yes, Lori, you must try them. Aw, I'm glad you guys are learning from me. And I think this is the most people I've ever had show up on a YouTube live. That's for sure too. I'm trying to be more balanced as far as lives on YouTube, maybe 1 or 2 a week. You know, my Facebook going along, and Instagram. I know Dory owns Instagram, but I'm not as comfortable with that format either. So I was like, man, I wish I had thought to make maybe some spinach dip up, or some pimento cheese, or some avocado dip, or anything just to put on these. I've got cheese, but I got cream cheese. Yeah, you know, you don't have to have a KitchenAid mixer. I'll tell you guys, I've had this one now. My children bought it for me. I've wanted one my whole life. I mean, every year for Christmas, I would ask for a KitchenAid mixer. One year, I thought my husband actually bought it for me, because it's like, you have to open it the day before Christmas because you're going to need it. And I was like, oh my God, I've got a KitchenAid mixer finally. It was a camera, which was nice. It was one of those little Kodak. It was back in 2003. So anyways, he was like, you needed a camera, baby, because you love taking photos. And he was right. But yeah. So finally, about 5 years ago, 4.5 years ago, somewhere like that, the kids just showed up. Mom, we need you to come over, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, here we go. And there it was. They just went out and bought me a KitchenAid mixer, and I love it. But all the years before that, with all the baking I've done, it was all with hand mixers and by hand. Heck, my carrot cake. Gotta check on the time here. My carrot cake recipe, which is my own, I will not let a mixer one touch that. That baby is all handmade. I love my carrot cake. I've got to figure out how to make it keto. I don't know that I can, quite honestly, I don't know that I could do my carrot cake justice by keto. It's one of those ultimate challenges, because my carrot cake I developed back in the early 90s, and when it hit church bake sales, that thing, I mean, $60, $70 they'd go for. I think the reason it was so good was the fact that I did everything by hand with that, and it was a true labor of love. You think I can pull it off, Steve? I don't know if I can pull it off. But I need to, because I do have my kids and stuff going, Mom, now that you're keto, we don't get carrot cake. Maybe I will figure it out. Let's see here. Mary says, hi, my first live chat. I make your nutritional yeast bread all the time. Can't wait to try these. Thank you. Oh, I'm so glad you make that bread. Yes. Well, I have had some really difficult challenges. I just got some recent ones. Somebody challenged me to do phyllo dough, and that one is a gluten sensitive thing, let me tell you, with all the butter and the layers and everything. I don't know. We'll see. I think I would rather try the carrot cake over the phyllo dough, if I'm to be quite honest. So let me set these out of the way. And I'm going to talk to you about ice cream, because that is what's going to be up next. Let's see. Somebody says, if you did live 7 days a week, I would be there every time. Aw, that was so sweet. Yeah, so ice cream is up next, and I'm going to tell you, it is one of the simplest things that you can make. My husband says, are you going to do a tutorial on it? I was like, I don't know, because it's so simple, and it's a lengthy process, just because you just put some cream and some almond milk in a pan and some sweetener, and you let it get a little warm, and then you mix your egg yolks together, and then you put your vanilla or flavor in, and you set it in the fridge for 10 hours, and then you put it in the churn for 30 minutes. That's how you make ice cream. Yay, ice cream! We all scream for ice cream. Yes, you guys want to see how easy it is? I mean, Heck, I've got a few minutes because what I'm going to do here is I'm going to check on these little crackers. And, oh yes, I want to see if you guys can see this here. Let me see if I can tip you around here so that you can see this. I'm going to do this whole, nope, you guys get to see this. Do you see how they poofed up in there? All right, so this is my cue. Tip you back around. This is the time I said after about 8-9 minutes, look to see. I'm just going to take a fork real quick. I'm going to just pull this out real quick. Let me see here. Zip, zip. Like I said, don't look at my dirty house. And I'm just going to poke them. Just, that's all you got to do is poke them down. Just pop them. I kind of just like to, oops, stay there, little cracker. And they're quite soft, you know. That's the thing. When I was trying to do crackers the first time, the first 4 or 5 times I tried to do crackers, they just stayed soft. I don't care what I did. And then I remembered making biscotti in my younger years, and it was a twice baked cookie that got hard as a rock for dipping in coffee, and I was like, I bet you I could do this. And this is where I got the idea to bake them twice. So if you guys want ice cream, oh, let's see, Lori just made strawberry ice cream. Lisa, call Food Network. Yeah, I don't know about that. But once I pull these out, I'm going to let them cool. I'm going to cut the oven down, and then they just have to sit and dry out and do that little twice bake thing. I'm still over here playing with this ball of dough. This dough is going to be, I'm just going to pop it in there with my other dough. Did I stay clean and cool in the kitchen? Yeah, well, I've got my little AC down on blast, let me tell you that. And when you've been in the kitchen as long as I have, you get practice, unless it's Christmas. You see me at Christmas when I'm in here being a baking sugar cookie grandma. You ain't gonna see me all clean. I'll be having the flour all over my face, all over my shirt, all over my chest, my stomach. Yeah, I'm a disaster when it comes to that. But then again, try doing sugar cookies with like 8 or 9 little grandkids all under the age of like 6 or 7. That's crazy. Let's see, Nanette says, my 13-year-old son loves ice cream, like who doesn't really? Poor kid is pretty much doomed. His dad is big, I'm big, not for much longer. So if you can just get him to choose healthy snacks, will be good. Girl, let me tell you something too. I mean, your kid can eat keto, 13 years old. Give him some of that keto ice cream because it tastes way better than any of the premium ice creams that I've bought and had prior to my keto days. I mean, those mud cakes are good. It's just making them get those wiser choices in at home, and eventually it'll sink in. Recipes I've made thus far, he has loved. Yes, good job. It'll come. It'll come, I'm telling you. I've got 5 kids, 3 of which are keto now, adult children. And now they're going to be passing it on to their kids. It's going to be great. You know, that's how it starts. So, for supper stuffs, not snacky things though. Well, there's lots of snacky things. I'm making ice cream. I'm making these crackers, which I need to check on. Oh, all right. And I will tell you too, these are another tool that I find necessary just because that little baker's rack sticks on in my oven rack. And so it's easier just to kind of give it a little lift and then pull them out. Now, here's where I was telling you about. I'm going to leave my oven open. I'm going to cut it on down to about 225, right in there. You know, just low. And then I want you to see the color of these crackers. And they do stick a little bit, but with a spatula, here we go, they pop loose. They kind of release after they set for a second. See? So I want to show you. This is what they look like. That light Triscuit color. Okay, they got the little score marks on the back, but look. soft, soft, soft. Cooked through, but soft. So we're gonna change it. And you just, like I said, come on up. Give them a little zhuzh on the pan here. Ow! Don't get it on your belly because it burns. Oh, I got one wire here sticking a little bit. I got 3 of them, won't be difficult. I swear it. Yeah, there we go. It just give them a minute to set because they just start releasing after a minute and they lift right off. There we go. That was it. That's all they needed. So now I've got a tray of little soft, poofy, very soft, bread-like. Mind you, they're tasty right now. If you wanted something soft, you didn't want a whole 3 net carbs, okay, so you could eat it right here. It's cooked and it's soft. And it's, like I said, this nutritional yeast bread, you can make it into flatbread, pita bread even maybe. I don't know. I mean, just saying. So, oops, I forgot to release this one over here. And knock it off. Knocked it off on my oven stove. Okay. So I've got my oven door open. I'm just letting the heat out, completely out. And it's cooling down rather quickly because I've already cut it down to 200, 225. And what I'll do is I'll just pop these back in. Okay? And let them go slow for about 20 minutes. And so the next thing that I'm fixing to do is get my ice cream mixture made up. You guys want to watch me make ice cream or no? Let's see. I'm definitely loving this life change for me and my family. Loving all the great information you provide. So very glad I found you. Oh, thank you so much, hon. Oh, thank you, April. What's Nancy making? I just got here. Want to be better? I am making crackers. Again, I can show you the end results because my crackers are now down to the last part of the recipe. They are slow baking on their second bake, and what they come down into is, you saw how puffy they were, right? But they will finish flattening out and break into crackers. I'm telling you guys too, I get so full. Don't ask me about the macros yet. I don't know that I figured it out because I don't know how many you're gonna get. I mean, honestly, that was what, maybe 10, 12. I'm gonna get at least 36, probably 36, 40. And depending on what size you make them, I don't know. You will just have to take your recipe and plug it into whatever you use, Carb Manager, MyFitnessPal, I don't know, whatever recipe or carb app tracker you have. So this is my disclaimer on this one, because I could sit there and say these are like a half a net carb per cracker or less than 1 gram per cracker, but if I make them only 1 inch, what are they? Or I use a, you know, you see what I'm saying? Yeah, saying what I'm saying. So anyways, that's what I'm doing is the crackers. I'm gonna set you guys back over here for a second because apparently it was supposed to be like 97 degrees and sunny today. And you notice how it started getting dark in here? Yeah, clouds rolling in. All right. Crunchy. Yes, they are crunchy. I wish I had topped them. I'll find something to top it with. Come on now, heck. Oh, I bet you, let's see here, what do I have? I don't know why, but I stuck a bag of cauli rice in my refrigerator instead of my freezer. I just saw it. Oh, I think my grandson ate my pepperoni. You see, that's what happens to me, guys. I have grandkids over, and what I think I own, I don't. And then I go to the store, and I don't realize I'm out of it. Okay, ice cream. All right, let me see here, because I'm just going to make the base up. That's all I'm going to do for the ice cream. For that, I need 2 cups of heavy cream. So if you've got some heavy cream, and this is in my head, y'all, so I'm hoping that I've got it completely right, but I like using this stainless steel pot. It's good size. It's got a nice heavy bottom on it. It'll help you to keep from, turn on a light and see if that makes a difference. Oh, hi! It's all light and bright. There we go. So yeah, 2 cups of heavy cream and 1 cup of almond milk. You can use the unsweetened, unflavored, or unsweetened vanilla. I've got both because I accidentally bought vanilla and my husband loves it. So hey, win-win. I can't remember if it's, I think it's 2 and 2 actually. 2 cups, 2 cups. So 2 cups is 1 whole pint, and that's what I've got here of the heavy whipping cream. And I'm just gonna add it. Now, in traditional ice cream recipes, you know, they say to really get your cream hot, but don't boil it because you don't want it to do that. You just want to get it at a simmer. And one reason being is that you want to add your sugar and you want to be able to stir it and have it dissolve. I find that the pure sweetener, the erythritol and stevia blend, it dissolves like that. So it's a plus. It's a big plus. I don't have to stir forever. So this goes really fast. Be right with you. I got to get a measuring cup because I wasn't planning on this one. I like my little handy dandy Pampered Chef. I've probably had this 20 plus, probably going on 20 years now. And it's still just, it takes a licking and keeps on a ticking. So almond milk, 2 cups. Into the pot it goes. Let's see. Pampered Chef cooling rack seems like it's vinyl coated, which would explain why it sticks. Look for an oven safe one because it is vinyl coated. It's leaching chemicals each time you heat it. Actually, that's not a Pampered Chef. This is Pampered Chef, but that's not Pampered Chef. So, and quite frankly, I haven't bought any Pampered Chef in probably, well, at least 15 years. 15 years plus, maybe. Because, I guess they think there's something special with those prices nowadays. I'm like, no thank you. No thank you very much. That's just the way I feel about that. I'm like, I ain't doing it. So, okay, I'm gonna grab some sweetener real quick and some extract. And mind you, this is the base. This is just the base for ice cream. This is be your typical vanilla. You can do add-ins if you want. I'm gonna turn this into a chocolate eventually. Ow! I got vinegar on my finger and I got a little cut on my finger. Hold on, I need my other measuring spoons because this one had oils. And I need a measuring cup. There. All right, measuring cup. So I like to use about a 1/4 cup of sweetener, of the pure sweetener. You do it to your taste, okay? And then again, this is one of those deals. It's flexible according to what sweetness level you want. So you figure your macros out. So I just bought a brand new bag of pure sweetener. So I got it. This is one thing I don't like about being 50-something years old. It seems like I'm retarded and I can't. And I don't mean that in a bad way. You know what I'm talking about. Just, I can't seem to open things as easily as I used to. Upsets me. So I've got a 1/4 cup. I'm going to just do this. Here we go. Yes. Okay, yes, they do think they're special, don't they? So, I need to get some canisters or jars for all my stuff, because I still have flour and regular sugar and regular things like beans and all this stuff in my cabinets. My husband's only been keto a week, so if he sticks with it, I'm going to be able to maybe donate all that somewhere, and then food bank, or I don't know. Somebody I know for sure will take all that off my hands, and then I can have canisters for all my keto stuff. So I just put the sugar into the, let me see here. I gotta go the other way. The other way, and then downward. Yeah, that'll work. So I just put the sweetener in here, and that's all I've got. Almond milk, heavy cream, and a 1/4 cup of pure sweetener. I'm gonna grab a spoon. And I do want to bring this up because I'm going to temper eggs. Eggs yolks is going to give it, this ice cream, that super premium, rich, yummy, yummy flavor. Perfect. It's already sweet. I mean, that's how quickly this dissolves. So basically all I want to do is just bring this up nice and hot, because I'm going to add the egg yolks to this, but you don't want to add egg yolks to your cream and milk, or else it will curdle and cook, and that's why it's called tempering, just like you would temper chocolate. This is my little rack of extracts and flavorings. I'm gonna do something a little different. I was playing. I'm gonna add butter extract. Isn't that special? Let me look at these bad boys. Oh, they're starting to get that nice brown flavor, but again, it's a 20 to 30 minute thing, just depending. The only reason I'm stirring that too is just to keep it from sticking to the bottom at all. Yeah, I'm gonna add a little bit. I'm gonna add like a 1/2 teaspoon of butter. When you think caramel, you think what? Caramel extract? I do. I made caramel ice cream. Remember I told y'all I made some caramel, salted caramel, and it was really good. I mean, the kids liked it, everybody liked it, but I liked it, but I was like, there feels like something's missing. There was just some little element missing. Well, I figured it out. Butter. Because caramel is what? Butter and sugar. That's all it is. Hi, Aaron, from Sacramento, California. He's sorry I'm late for class, I'm ready to cook. Well, we've got crackers that we made. They're in the oven for the second time doing their finishing bake, and we're just making some ice cream base right here while we're waiting. And then basically when I get done making this base, it'll go into a pitcher, and I will stick it in the refrigerator overnight until it's nice and cold. And I do have my ice cream cylinder out in the freezer, out in the big freezer, so it's going to be nice and frozen in the morning. Okay, so I'm going to pull these out just to check on them for y'all. Get this out of the way. Do you see my small kitchen that I'm always working with? So you just give this a lift, and then you lift it out, and then I will take a check. They are still kind of soft, so we're doing good. We're just going to pop them back in there. Oops. Try not to knock them off of there. So, there we go. I adjusted that up to about 250. Maybe I can speed things up just a bit. Just a bit. So, it's starting to get hot. And I'm going to grab my egg yolks. I will be right back. Now, again, here comes one of my little OCD things. I don't know if it's culinarily, is that a word even? I don't know if it's right or not. It doesn't matter. It's just me. That's what I do. Okay, so I've got these egg yolks, but you can see that there's a little bit of white surrounding them. Yes, I don't want it. I don't want it. I only want the yolks. So the best way for me to do that is to just reach in and scoop them out and just let them just lift up and leave that little bit behind. I don't care if they break in this bowl below me, but I'm gonna leave it behind. And see that? I don't know, it's just my thing. It's just my thing. I need a paper towel. Besides, I needed to put these yolks up in a bigger bowl anyways, because I'm going to temper. What that means is this is getting nice and hot. And if I were to pour these eggs in, again, they would curdle and they would start cooking. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a ladle and I'm going to take some of this hot cream and I'm going to turn it down because it's starting to get some real big heat to it. And I'm going to take this. I want to see if I can get you guys back here so that I can bring this down here. Yes, and you can see what I'm fixing to do. I'm going to take some hot cream and I'm going to start whisking these and I'm going to just slowly do this with this. And I'm bringing it up to temperature. I'm incorporating the cream and the sugar and the almond milk into the egg yolk, which is bringing the temperature of the egg up a little bit without cooking it, so that when I pour it back into the pot, and I can even add just a little bit more just to get it nice and hot. There we go, just like that. And then what I'm going to do is bring it back into this, and it will blend without cooking my egg yolks. And it's going to give it that wonderful, more custard, French, premium, rich. I mean, think about how healthy egg yolks are. Nice high-fat egg yolks, high-fat cream, low-carb almond milk. And we just want to let it cook long enough to pretty much make sure that we're not using raw egg. That's all this is for. And I'm going to cut it very, very low. Again, I'm going to use my handy dandy spoon because, oh, it's so good, you guys. So good. And I'm going to bring y'all up a little bit. There we go. Let me see where we're at. No, you don't have to stir. You just want to keep stirring while the yolks are going in, and when you're tempering, yeah, you do. You just want to keep that hot stream and the egg yolk going together so that it just blends without it cooking the egg yolk. So, and then once you've got this on here for like a minute at this temperature, you're going to be fine. You can take it off of the heat, and then you can add your flavorings, and then I'm just going to pour it in a pitcher and set it, like I said, in the ice box. They say a minimum of 4 hours. Overnight's even better. You just want to make sure it's nice and super cold. That way when you pour it into your churn, it starts really cold. So at this point, I'm cutting the heat off. I got people friend requesting me. There we go. All right, so again, with the spoon, we have no lumps, no bumps. We have a wonderful, rich flavor. But again, we're not finished because we need some flavoring. I was getting ready to do my thing with this ice cream, wasn't I? I was going to put some butter and some caramel in there. I have cinnamon too. I do. It would taste like a dulce de leche almost if I did a cinnamon caramel, wouldn't it? Yes. But I want to make this into chocolate ice cream. So I'm not going to use my butter. I think I'm out of, can you believe it? I really think that I am out of vanilla. I've got banana. Oh my gosh, I have done banana ice cream. I've got almond for an amaretto. Yum, yum, yum. I've got orange, which would be good if I was making sherbet, and then I would skip probably the egg yolks on that. Lemon. I'm just going to let this sit, guys, because I think what I will do is get some vanilla somewhere and then have to run to the store. But it's cool because it's towards the end here. That's all there is to making an ice cream base, is just heating your cream, your sweetener, your milk, and then tempering your eggs into it. That's how you end up with a premium rich ice cream. And again, this is one of those things, I'm kind of glad I did it because, you know, it's going to be tomorrow before I pour it into a churn, and I just pour it in, hit the button, wait, scoop it out, and it's done. I put it into little containers, and you know, the little 1 cup containers, and I pack it in those and stick it in the freezer. I don't think my husband's going to let me I don't think it's going to last him as long as it does me. What do I do with my tongs? Oh, what do I do with those tongs? I know I did something with them. I haven't really gone anywhere. Oh, I stuck them in the sink. But no worries, because I have multiple sets of tongs. Here we go. Let's check on these. Let's see if we're there. Let's see, are we there yet? No, we're not. This one I did stick. I didn't unstick that one all the way. Nope, it's going to be a little bit, guys. So, thank you so much. I knew this is why I did this in reverse, because it can take a while, just depending. It's getting stormy out. The humidity's up, so it might take probably another 15-20 minutes before my crackers are finished dehydrating. Hey, Patricia. Do me a favor, guys. I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm just gonna call it done, and I hope, let me see if I can move you guys around here. Oh, I'm standing right over that oven, and y'all think that I'm doing good without sweating and getting messy, but I'm telling you what, it's a little hot. So, let me look and see if we've got any questions that maybe I didn't get to look at. Let's see. Haha. Sharon says her kitchen is much smaller than mine. How much almond milk? I went with 2 and 2. I can double check it when I'm done, though. I think 2 and 2 is going to be fine. Sometimes. Hey, it was impromptu. Sorry. If you do 2 and 1, you're going to end up with a richer ice cream, but I'm looking at 2 and 2, so I want to make like, what, 32-ounce quart of ice cream. My husband's going to need it. Hey, no nuts. I'm a guy here, 60 years old, same age as my husband. There you go. Welcome. Let's see. Does not sound that healthy, and I'm a chef. That guy. Well, that guy, if you've not heard of keto, you might just tune in a little bit more, because we've got lots and lots of information about how healthy, how wonderfully healthy the keto diet is. And we've got lots of us that are just living proof. No longer on meds, no longer on metformin, blood pressure medications. Let's see. That guy, I'm Michael. I'm Irish. I'm a personal trainer, that hobby, but I'm a chef in a 5-star restaurant in London. How exciting and interesting. Man, I tell you what, I wish I was well, I kind of am my own personal chef, aren't I? Okay. All right, guys. Well, tell you what I'll do. I've shown you the end results, right? I keep moving my crackers around. I keep moving them around. This is what's going to take place in the oven when you just let them dry. They are just going to crack and crunch, and you can top them with whatever you like. I hope you enjoyed it. I will have to, not you, that guy. No, okay. Okay. Oh, that guy says, can we chat for a few more minutes? So yeah, speaking of that, Nancy, the other morning my blood sugar was 173. This morning I'm down to 131. Woo! Waiting for the day I'm normal. It's coming, girl. Let me tell you what, it is coming. The longer you stay keto, the better your blood sugar is going to get. That's for sure. I really feel privileged that you guys said, hey, you know, can you talk for a few more minutes? But crackers are baking. I'm going to have to get all the rest of this dough made up and not munch on these. That's the one thing. When I do these tutorials, I like, you know, I do the munchy thing so I can show you how delicious they are and crunchy and all that good stuff. And then I'm like, oh my God, I'm so full. Happens every time I do a tutorial because I eat it. Oh, off work for 5 weeks. What a treat. Oh, you know it. Summertime, off work, wonderful time. The recipe, Patricia, as soon as, here's how it works now, guys. On YouTube, when I do a live, it's not available just immediately because I've got to let it do its upload business, and it takes a bit. Once it gets all uploaded, Then I can come back and edit in the description, and I will copy and paste my recipe. You can find this recipe. It's already posted in group on Facebook. At the top of the group page, under the announcements, you'll find the little recipe box of mine, and this recipe is already in there. So if you want to run over there and you haven't gone to Facebook and you're not part of a support group and you want to be part of this group, feel free, go over and get into the group, and you can get that recipe. Again, it will be in the drop down. Let me explain drop down. So let's pretend this is a phone. It's my hand, but it's a phone, okay? So when you're looking at YouTube, right across here is where the video is, at the top of the screen. And right below it, right here, is the title of the video. And it'll say, keto crackers, crunchy keto crackers. Well, right across the top, right beside the title, on the left-hand side, is a little tiny triangle, just a little one. If you tap it, it expands, it opens up. And that's where you find the recipe for this. You will find links to Facebook group, you'll find links to Instagram, you'll find links to my Patreon account, you'll find all the information. That's how drop downs work on YouTube. I know there's a lot of folks on here that said, I don't know where the drop down is. I didn't know there was one. But that's it. That's where you find all the information, okay? Thank you guys for showing up. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe. If you want to be notified when I'm doing a live or when I'm uploading a new video, hit the notification button. If you haven't gone to my Patreon and you think you find value in what I do and you want to throw $1 my way, please just tap on my Patreon link. It'll be in the drop down afterwards, and hook me up there. And I'm so thankful and blessed that you guys showed up, and I want to get feedback. If you make these crackers, let me know. Come back either on YouTube or come on Facebook, post a picture or leave a comment. I'd love to hear your take, and I want to know what kind of crackers you came up with. Thank you guys. Remember, fats first, moderate protein, low carb, get you some.